Hello guys, today I'll be talking about bail, the types of bail that there are, and what is the significance and importance of the concept of bail, so and so on. So first of all, let me just start by letting you guys know that bail is something which is there in chapter 4 of the CRPC. The term bail itself originated from an old French verb, that is bailer, which means to give or to deliver. Bail basically refers to the provisional release of an accused in a criminal case in which the court is yet to announce the judgment. And the term bailee means the security that is deposited in order to secure the release of the accused. Now, the guys, one of the most important things that comes to mind is that what is a bail for an accused? So, in our criminal jurisprudence, it is said that it is considered far better to release 100 guilty people than to convict one innocent guy. So, since we are a parliamentarian kind of democracy, we have rights in place, we have fundamental rights in place, we have our golden triangle of the constitution in the form of Article 14, 19, and 21. We do need a concept like bail in our criminal jurisprudence, otherwise, the government can misuse the powers of arrest very easily. Now, Article 21 of the Constitution says gives us all right to life and personal liberty. Yeah, it gives us right to personal liberty as well. Do not forget that. Oh, so that concept of right to life also includes your right to roam freely around the country. Yeah, and your personal freedom as well. So to ensure that during the trial of the prisoners, no one's personal liberty is restricted for more than a period of maximum 24 hours, and that in cases of non-bailable offences. But to ensure that bail was introduced in CRPC, so that even the so that even the accused people will have their right to life and personal liberty intact under Article 21 of the Constitution. Excuse me, guys. Now let's learn how many types of bails are there. What are the provisions regarding bail? Under what circumstances may the bail get cancelled? On that note, I'll be now again sharing my screen with you all so that it's easier for you guys to understand. Guys, always remember that jail is an exception and bail is a rule. Never forget that it's not the other way around. Mostly the courts grant you bail whenever you approach them for the same, and there are certain conditions, preconditions set in place under which your bail would be cancelled or the court would not allow to grant you a bail, but we'll come to them. On that note, please remember the case of State of Rajasthan versus Balchand alias Balia, which was the first landmark judgment of the Honorable Supreme Court, where the Honorable Court held the judicial principle that jail is an exception and bail is a rule. I'll repeat the case again, guys. The case was State of Rajasthan versus Balchand alias Balia. This is a case from 1978, 1978, 1978, where this judicial principle was laid down that jail is an exception and bail is a rule. On that note, now I'll be sharing my screen. Yeah, so let's start. These are the types of bail in India, guys. Depending upon the stage of criminal matter, there are commonly three types of bail in India. Number one is regular bail. A regular bail is generally granted to a person who has been arrested or is in police custody. A bail application can be filed for the regular bail under Section 437 and 439 of CRPC. Then comes the interim bail. This type of bail is granted for a short period of time, and it is granted before the hearing of the grant of regular bail or anticipatory bail. Then comes your anticipatory bail, guys. Anticipatory bail is granted under Section 438 of CRPC either by Session Court or High Court. An application for the grant of anticipatory bail can be filed by the person who discerns that he may be arrested by the police for a non-bailable offense. All right, I'll simplify it. So suppose there has been a case around me. Suppose I'm working in an office and suppose B person gets murdered. Consider me A. So now people know that A and B didn't get along too well. On that note, I will be now under an apprehension that the police might come and arrest me. So, due to such apprehension, I will, before getting arrested itself, I'll apply to the Honorable High Court or the Sessions Court for granting me anticipatory bail, so that when the police comes to arrest me, already be granted an decree of anticipatory bail, and then I wouldn't get arrested unnecessarily, like without evidence, basically. Now, conditions for grant of bail in bailable offences. Guys, always remember, for applying for anticipatory bail, you must have an apprehension that you will get arrested for a non-bailable offense. For a bailable offense, even if you have an apprehension of arrest, you'll get a bail easily. There's no need to apply for anticipatory bail in cases of bailable offenses. In fact, the difference between granting of bail in bailable and non-bailable offenses is that in a bailable offense, wait, I'll write it here so that you understand it easily. Yeah, in a bailable offense, the bail is a matter of right, whereas in a non bailable offense, the bail is a matter of discretion of the honorable judge. All right, guys, always remember this difference. Even if you're working or you're a law student, this difference will always be beneficial for you. That the major difference between getting a bail in bailable offense and getting a bail in a non-bailable offense is that in a bailable offense, you get the bail as a matter of your right. Whereas in non-bailable offence, the bail is granted to you by the magistrate upon his own discretion. He can also cancel your bail. He can also refuse to grant you a bail if he feels so in a non-bailable offence. All right, moving on now. Conditions for grant of bail in bailable offence. Section 436 of Criminal Procedure Code lays down that a person accused in bailable offence under IPC can be granted bail. Conditions for bail. These are the following conditions for bail in bailable offences. There should be there should be excuse me, guys. There should be sufficient reasons to believe that the accused has not yet committed the offence. Has not committed the offence. There is a sufficient reason to conduct further inquiry in the matter. The person is not accused of any offence punishable with death, life imprisonment, or imprisonment up to 10 years. These offences are basically non-bailable offences or cognizable offences, which are basically more serious offences, guys. Now, conditions for grant of bail in non-bailable offences. 437 of CRPC lays down that the accused does not have the right to apply for bail in non-bailable offences. It is discretion of the court to grant bail in non-bailable offences. As I told you before, conditions for bail in non-bailable offences are: if the accused is a woman or a child, bail can be granted in a non-bailable offences. But women also, in specific circumstances, like a woman's bail can also be cancelled in non-bailable offences. But if a woman is pregnant or if she has any other medical complications, then the court can go ahead and grant her the bail. If there is lack of evidence, then bail in non-bailable offences can be granted. Yes, this is there due to want of lack of evidence. The court will have to grant a bail in even if a person is accused in a non-bailable offence like murder or rape. So it is the duty upon the prosecutrix to collect enough evidence so that the accused can be convicted in a smooth manner. But of course this is necessary because if suppose you're the accused and your accusations are baseless and false, then under such a circumstance, this whole concept of bail in a non-bailable offense will come into the picture and will be really beneficial for you. Now, if there is a delay in lodging FIR by the complainant, bail may be granted. This is again one of the most important grounds while applying for bail in a non-bailable offense, because you have to show the court that there was negligence from the complainant side as well, for in the way of showing the delay in filing in lodging of FIR. And there have been prior instances and judgments where the courts have granted bail on the basis of delay in lodging of FIR by the complainant, or if the accused is gravely, the last point is if the accused is gravely sick. Now let's come to cancellation of bail, guys. Court has the power to cancel the bail even at a later stage. This power is laid upon the court under section 437 clause 5 and 439 clause 2 of the CRPC. The court can cancel the bail granted by it and give directions to the police officer to arrest the person and keep him in police custody, him or her. In a bailable offense, the bail is a matter of right, whereas in a non-bailable offence, the bail is a matter of discretion of the honorable judge. As I told you all earlier. So always remember, the bail can get cancelled by the honorable court, but the grounds for cancellation are if the court feels that the accused might tamper with the evidence, if the court feels that the accused might misuse his freedom. By misusing his freedom means that he or she would again get engaged in unlawful activities, then under such circumstances, the court can actually go for cancellation of bail under section 437 clause 5 and 439 clause 2 of the Criminal Procedure Code. With this, guys, we come to the end of this session with regards to bail. If you have any doubts, do post your doubts in the comment section below and we'll answer all the questions you have. And please remember, please remember to stay safe in your home and take all the necessary precautions. And yes, please also remember to subscribe to our channel and like this video and click the bell icon for notifications so that you get notified as soon as we release our next video. Thank you for your time, guys, and hope you have a safe year ahead and a great day ahead. Thank you.